this is GMS, Acidians DMV in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Giving all praises to Yahweh, ISHMAEL. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and much love and respect to the brothers around the globe, preaching the word in sincerity and in truth. Basically, the elect. Yeah, basically, just gonna have like sort of like an open forum. Spirit got on us to come do a drive, do a lesson on the way to going to camp. You know, bring out some scriptures to edify brothers, if the Lord please. Yeah, so the brothers is basically gonna bring them out.
I got this article. It's called "The Scourge of Slavery." The rest of the story. Over 28 million Africans have been enslaved over the Muslim world over the past 14 centuries. While much has been written concerning the transatlantic slave trade, surprisingly little attention has been given to the Islamic slave trade across the Sahara, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. While the European involvement in the transatlantic slave trade to the Americas lasted for just over 3 centuries, the Arab involvement in the slave trade has lasted 14 centuries, and in some parts of the Muslim world, it still continues to this day.
You go ahead and speak on it, Doc.
Hey, basically, this is getting into the slave trade with those Arabs, those Ishmaelites. Because not only did we go into slavery under the so-called white man, our seed, the seed of Israel, also went into slavery under these Arabs, you know. And I got a quick scripture.
Yeah, while the brother's getting that, there's a video on YouTube where they talk about in the country of India, which is located in Asia. They were speaking on how there were Africans that were brought over there on Arab slave boats. Now, if you do research on the transatlantic slave trade, you know that the so-called white man brought us from the so-called Africans, and the people that built the boats were the Arabs. So they all had a hand in it, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that identifies who those people are. They're Israelites, because it was prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that we would go into bondage, aka Egypt, again by way of slave ships. So, and matter of fact, one of y'all brothers can get the curse too. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's like the 56th verse where it says that pretty much we be scattered amongst all nations. And Joel, the 3rd chapter, is perfect. It's another good script. We talk about how we so. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even upon other.
Right, because the brother, when he was reading in the article, it said that the Africans, like the transatlantic slave trade, that's mostly talked about on the western side of the world. But also a part of the transatlantic slave trade, people went east, and that fulfills prophecy, because the scripture said that we would go from one side of the earth to another side of the earth.
And they shall serve other gods.
Right, and they shall serve other gods. In fact, if you look at that video that I made reference to, it shows them keeping the customs of the East Indians, as well as over here in America. Because in America, you have the so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native Americans worshiping other gods. And also, too, let me say this right quick, because if you do more research on the transatlantic slave trade, you know that the so-called Puerto Ricans that as we know today, were brought over to the Philippines. And they even gathered up some of the Native Americans and brought them to Spain. So that's a cut for niggas that's talking about only the Negroes are the children of Israel. You have to have Negro blood or whatever the case is in order for you to be an Israelite. Right, because our forefathers didn't know those lands. All right, we were given the land of Israel, even wood and stone. That goes for the Arab religion and where people go into that into Christianity. That makes reference to that also.
I got a quick precept on that. Basically, on the curses. If you're reading about transatlantic slave trade, but basically what happened was when you read Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, it says if you didn't hearken on to the voice of the Lord and serve Him, He would bring these curses on you. So this is Daniel's 9. I'm gonna start at 7. It says, "O Lord, righteousness." Now I'm gonna start at 5. It says, this is Daniel 9 verse 5. "We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly and have rebelled even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings and our princes and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Lord, righteousness belongeth to us, unto thee, and unto us confusion of faces."
Yeah, right, and that's also too. They say confusion of faces, and that's plain and simple. You really don't need anyone to like break that down in details, because it's self-explanatory that you will have confusion of faces. Okay, that also goes into Matthew the 13th chapter. We don't got to get it about the tares in the wheat, because the wheat was sown with the tares. All right, and basically the wheat is referring to Israel, and the tares are the people that look like Israelites, but they're not. That's why you have so-called white people today, but you might look at them like, damn, you be like, that cracker could dance, but guess what? That ain't no cracker, man. He got rhythm, you know what I'm saying? But it also it ties into with what we're bringing up, because all across the world, you have people that look like certain nations, but their forefathers go back to a man named Jacob, which make them Israelites, okay? Especially when people fit the curses. You know, that's another identification of someone being an Israelite. All right. Case in point, and it's again, I'll bring up the East Indians. I ran into an East Indian. It was a couple of East Indians. You know, I seen them in the supermarket. It's called H-Mart, where Jake don't be at, pretty much. And I ran into these East Indians, and I looked at them, and I seen like they had the long, you know, East Indians, they wear the long garments. They had, you know, like ancient garments, pretty much. And when I looked, I seen they had like blue on it, and they had fringes. I'm like, whoa, this is weird. Like, you know, like maybe it's just a coincidence or whatever the case is, you know. And it was a man, an older man. You could tell they were into Islam. There was an older man and two women, and they were all covered up. And I looked at the lady, and she had a nose jewel on, and it was the shield of David. And I said, oh, like I kind of like got, you know, I got hyped in the damn supermarket as I'm on the line. I'm like, whoa, where you get that from? Why do you have that? Like, pretty much. And she said to me, oh, this means that I'm married. Now, I don't know the exact account in the scriptures. I'm not sure if it was Jacob and Leah, but I remember there's an account in the scriptures where it makes reference to the woman putting on a nose jewel to as a significance of being married. Like as you have today, a woman, she'll wear her ring on her finger and say, look, I'm married, and show you her ring. Well, that was a custom of Israel, to a woman wear her nose jewel to identify that she was married. And the woman had that, and they looked just like East Indians, man. Go ahead, Awad.
Oh, yeah. This is Baruch chapter 2, verse 3. No, it's like Baruch chapter 2.
Looking for 3 and 8.
No, 2 verse 4. But I can read 3 and 8. I get that.
Come.
But this is Baruch 2 verse 4. Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all the people.
Right, and real quick, and that's exactly what's going on. It said that all the kingdoms that are round about us, that we're in subjection to, you know, well, no matter what country you go in, you have Israelites, and like the elder said, if Israel is the number as the sand of the sea, that makes Israel more than any number of any people on earth put together, man. You got more Israelites on earth than any nation on earth put together. All right? Go ahead, Op.
It says, moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord hath scattered them. Thus we were cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against the Lord our power.
Right, because we sin. That's why we're in the condition that we're in today. And only the elect lady, you know, the chosen men that the Heavenly Father has chosen, only they can understand that. Only they can grasp that concept of why we're here in America today. 2/3 of our people think we're in America because we got saved by the white man.
This is the kingdom.
Khan. And anybody that believes that those are the children of Israel in the land of Israel today, they believe that this is the kingdom of heaven, because that was promised to the children of Israel, that Israel will get their land back and we will rule over nations. And that's what those Khazar rats, those so-called white people over there in the land of Israel are portraying themselves to be the children of Israel, and they're ruling over the nations though. But what debunks them being the children of Israel is because the prophecy said that the world would know war no more. The nations would know war no more. Ever since those Khazars, those so-called white people that got up in the land of Israel, there's been nothing but war. There's been more war brewing at a higher rate since those devils got up in the land of Israel, man.
Right, and plus the other tribes are supposed to be ruling alongside of them.
Khan. That's right, Doc.
That's how you know they're not. And the Lord, there's so many other prophecies. The Lord is supposed to be down on earth in the land with them ruling.
Right.
That's how you know the curses don't fit them.
Right.
They don't suffer. They don't suffer from all the diseases. You know, they can eat pork all they want and they're fine. But as soon as an Israelite eats pork, the curses start working against them. Why? Because we're not supposed to be doing that stuff. We're not supposed to be breaking the Most High's commandments.
Khan. Go ahead, Awad.
This is back in the article. It says a comparison of the Islamic slave trade to the American slave trade reveals some interesting contrast. While 2 out of every 3 slave ships across the Atlantic were men, proportion were reversed in the Islamic slave trade. 2 women for every man were enslaved by the Muslims.
Yeah, the curses still fit, you know, that we were taken into captivity, you know.
One of you brothers get Isaiah the 60th chapter.
60th chapter?
Yeah, start at the start at the top. Just read through it.
Well, like it says in the article, it says 2 out of every 3 2 women for every man were enslaved by the Muslims. You know, so Gehenna said, you know, it's a sin to fuck Edomites and some shit like that, man. He's a damn devil, man. Because these Muslims, they had our women, man. We're gonna get their women. What was wrong with that? This is Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Right, it's talking about Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
For behold, The darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen among thee.
Right, that's going for the elect. Go ahead.
And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising.
Right, go ahead.
Lift up thine eyes round about, and see. All they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons gather themselves together, they come to thee. I'm reading it again. It's verse 4. Lift up thy eyes round about, and see. All they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah.
Right, Midian is Ishmael. All right, go ahead.
All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord.
Right, go ahead.
All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee.
Right, these are sons of Ishmael. All right, let's talk about the Ishmaelites, because you got the brothers reading the article how the Ishmaelites. He's going to get further into it and deeper into it. They put us in hardcore slavery too. That's why here in Isaiah the 60th chapter, it's talking about we're going to get their firstborn son. When you go back to Genesis, right? If a brother can find it, if not, we'll put it in the post-production. But Kirjath and Kedar are some of Ishmael's firstborns. All right. Back to the article, and then we're going to go back into Isaiah.
All right, it says, while the mortality rate for slaves being transported across the Atlantic was as high as 10%, the percentage of slaves dying in transit in trans-Saharan and East African slave trade was between 80 and 90%.
You see that? Transatlantic was 10%, the trans-Saharan was 80 to 90%. Why? Because that fucking hot-ass sun, man. Go on.
While almost all the slaves shipped across the Atlantic were for agriculture work, most of the slaves destined for the Muslim Middle East were for sexual exploitation as concubines in harems and for military service.
That's why we're gonna fucking kill you Arabs, man. And all you 2/3 niggas that wanna be Muslims, because you don't know about this shit, man. If the spirit permits, every last one of you Islam and Muslim niggas, we gonna kill your ass, man. And before we kill you, we gonna read this stuff to you, man. Because this is the stuff your imams don't teach you about. Go ahead.
While many children were born to slaves in the Americas, and millions of their descendants are citizens in Brazil and the U.S., to this day, very few descendants of the slaves that ended up in the Middle East survived. While most slaves who went to the Americas could marry and have families, most of the male slaves destined for the Middle East were castrated, and most of the children born to the women were killed at birth. It is estimated that possible as many as 11 million Africans were transported across the Atlantic.
Which they were Israelites and weren't Africans.
It's a lot. I'll read it again. It is estimated that possibly as many as 11 million Israelites were transported across the Atlantic, 95% of which went to South and Central America, mainly to Portuguese, Spanish, and French possession. Only 5% of the slaves went to the United States.
Right, that's why they got something called Afro-Latinos. It's really, they're all a lot of them are Judites, Benjamites. Like a lot of there's a lot of Benjamites in Panama, El Salvador. A lot of those Zebulon